Hey folks, it's Greg and Janet, Strange RV Tours, and we'd like to welcome you to another episode of Flix with the Hicks. Each week, we review two films that we've seen on DVD that week, and we always pick our best movie of the week and our worst movie of the week. Yeah. This week, I got to pick the worst movie of the week, so I'll be going first.
Yeah.
The worst movie that we watched this week was Mad Money. It was made in 2008 at a cost of $22 million. It grossed a whopping $26 million. It stars Diane Keaton, Queen Latifah, and Katie Holmes as three workers who work in the Federal Reserve Building in Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline it's comedy, but the storyline revolves around Diane Keaton. Her husband loses his job. She realizes they're heavily in debt, has to take a job for the first time in years, and she takes a job at the Federal Reserve. While she's working there, she meets Queen Latifah, and she also meets Katie Holmes.
Mm-hmm.
They work there also. They start realizing where they're working at there, what their project is, all has to do with getting rid of used up money. When money goes to a grocery store and it's halfway ripped or has,
it's faded. Like dirty, old, wrinkled up, damaged bills of money.
Yeah.
Ones, 20s, 5s, 100s, whatever. And they destroy them.
Yeah. They cycle their way back to the Federal Reserve where they destroy them.
Mm-hmm.
And so Diane Keaton gets the idea of stealing all of this dirty or messed up money. And she enlists Queen Latifah and Katie Holmes.
They both work there.
Yes.
All three of them work there.
And it's a cute film. It's a cute film. But to me, being the type of film that it was, it made the people that work at the Federal Reserve look like idiots. The girls devised a system where they would warn each other or they would communicate with each other, and it was something to the effect of doing this in the cafeteria,
in the lunchroom, whatever.
And I was like, they're every time you see one of them, they're doing this. And I was thinking to myself, what federal officer isn't going to realize, why are these three girls doing this all the time? Oh, it's got to be a plan.
Yeah, no. And that's cameras and security and stuff like that. It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not. It's not realistic at all.
And Mrs. Cardigan and her ritzy house, and all of a sudden, they have all kinds of money, and she doesn't want to stop doing it and getting greedy and. Yeah, well, anyway.
Yeah, so anyhow, it was a cute movie, but it wasn't great. The acting was adequate among all three of the stars. It was pretty much adequate. Mm-hmm. But the problem with the film was the content. They really didn't have a lot to work with. So but I would give that movie on a scale of 0 to 100 because it's a cute film. A 38.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. It's cute, kind of. I like the actresses. Ted Danson didn't do too good. I mean, I don't know. It's just like cheesy. So I'll give it like a 30. I wouldn't ever watch it and wouldn't recommend it to anybody. It's not really that entertaining either.
Yeah. So let's talk about your film.
Ooh, In the Electric Mist. And it never came out into the theaters at all.
But it is available on DVD.
Yes. And actually, it came out in 2009. And it came out in like France and like Berlin or something like that. And it did gross 7.9 at the box office overseas. But when it was released on DVD in March of 2009, it sold over 105,000 copies in 1 week. Right away. But the whole movie is about this character that we knew already by the name of Dave Robichaux, which was played by Tommy Lee Jones. But we already heard this on audiobook, and it was narrated by Will Patton, which is, the whole storyline's the same, but I thought it was better on audiobook. But I do enjoy the movie, okay? Dave Robichaux is a detective in New Iberia Parish in Louisiana, and he's an ex-alcoholic. The story, there's a dead prostitute that he's investigating. There's an actor that comes into town that has a drinking problem and kind of befriends Dave. And because Dave wasn't going to take him to jail for drunk driving, well, being public intoxication or whatever, and mentions that his girlfriend, the guy that was drunk, his girlfriend, Kelly, the character Kelly, they found a decomposing body, like really really bad shape, awful, kind of in a swampy area. Well, and the place where they saw the body is something that Dave remembered happened when he was like a teenager. He saw a murder of a black guy that was in the swamps and being chased and had chains on him. And anyway, he remembered that for some reason. Well, anyway, there's a guy named Babyface, which is John Goodman. He and Dave used to be friends, but now Babyface is into some bad stuff and they're not friends anymore. But it gets all twisted around, and he's investigating all Babyface, the prostitution, ring of prostitution and stuff like that. And turns out that like John Goodman, Babyface, and it's hard to explain. Anyway, Dave is investigating, and then somebody slips some LSD into his drink, which is Dr. Pepper. And he ends up in the hospital. But while he's laying in the hospital, he has these visions. Supposedly, LSD does that to you, kind of. And he sees this General Hood from way back when. And the general is helping him through
wasn't he from the Civil War?
From the Civil War, yeah. And with this LSD, all these visions, he wasn't thinking much about it, but then this general keeps on popping up. In when he's out investigating stuff after he got out of the hospital, and the general will pop up and talk to him and give him clues and stuff like that and befriends him, and it's really neat. And then, well, anyway, I really liked the movie. You see how I get excited about these good movies? and the story was really good. Now, I enjoyed it more on audiobook.
Yeah, Will Patton.
Yeah.
Will Patton has the perfect voice for a Cajun
type person. Yeah. And
character. And
Bootsy, his wife, and his little girl, was all goo-goo about the actor that was there. And
Tripod.
And Tripod, the dog.
Three-legged raccoon.
Raccoon. Yeah, the raccoon. But it's like the Dave Robichaux series, with all the different little audiobooks. When we were trucking, we were listening to all those, so we can relate to this video, and I really liked it. And I like Tommy Lee Jones. He reminds me of my dad.
Yeah, it was a good film. I think where it suffered compared to the book for me was the book goes more in depth into Dave Robichaux's emotions and what he thinks about. It's easier to describe that in a book. than to show it on camera. But his mind is constantly turning, and things are, you know.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad film. It was a good film. What would you give yours?
Well, I'd give it probably a 90.
Really? You liked it that much?
Yeah, I'm ready to watch it again.
Cool.
I just like it. The story's good, and you know the Tommy Lee Jones, and you know turned his life around. And he's doing good, and he's getting the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
I think I would give it. I'd give it like a 72.
Yeah.
It was a good film, but because I had listened to the book years ago, and it was so good, it didn't live up to the book to me, and I wish it had been more like the book. But it was a good film.
But you know, but there is another version out that's on Kindle, but it's narrated by somebody else or by another company. Ours was just regular audiobooks, that had it. You know, there's 2 versions. The one with Will Patton was really good.
Yes.
So if you want to do books on tape or
books on cassette or
something. Audiobooks, you know, while you're driving or streaming, I don't know. But I liked it. I mean, I'd watch it again. I'm keeping that one.
Good.
I'm keeping that one.
Excellent. All right, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Flix with the Hicks. Until we see you next time, rent a movie. Go and buy a movie. Watch them in your house.
Do the red box or stream it. Or
movie theaters are overrated. Take it easy, folks. Bye-bye.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.